Okay, welcome back. So I have not been posting enough videos of Jordan because I have been kind of busy with other people's horses and just trying to get caught up and everything. But now we're right back at it. Just a little recap. Jordan is a 3-year-old thoroughbred right off the track. She is the full sister to the horse from last year that I had called Fortunate Cookie, aka Flynn. And here is a video of the day before we did the first ride with her. And so I always want to put her over obstacles every single time because, as you saw right there, she was kind of tripping and stumbling and being a 3-year-old and just kind of still figuring out where her legs are. And so if I want her to eventually be comfortable with jumping, it's up to me to make sure that she gets enough repetition just from the ground and simple things like going over ground poles and stuff like that. How can I expect her to be comfortable jumping over 2-3 foot obstacles when she's not even super comfortable going over a pole on the ground? So I want to make sure that she's comfortable going over poles on the ground before I move on to anything more advanced or even when I'm on her back. And so right there, I was kind of getting insistent about her, turning, giving me 2 eyes. But anyway, that's probably one of the biggest themes for me in training horses is just making sure they're comfortable with all the stuff on the ground, and then anything under saddle just goes faster. And then I guess another thing is it just takes a lot of time and energy to really get a horse trained properly and just be broke and just be a good, willing partner. And I think people underestimate how much repetition and how much time it does take. I mean, you've got to be out there all day. And I mean, obviously not all day. I'm exaggerating a little bit there. But you've got to be willing to put the time in. And whatever time you put in, you're going to get back. You reap what you sow. So if you're thorough and you're really, really good about making sure you're checking all the boxes, your horse is going to probably turn out really well. And so here we're doing yield the hindquarters and then I do yield the forequarters, and I sped it up because I know nobody wants to sit here and watch all this boring stuff, but it's the boring stuff that makes the horses have a solid foundation. You can't even begin to say, okay, I'm going to point this horse at, this solid 2'6" obstacle when they can't even go forwards, backwards, left, and right. They can't even, move off your leg. They can't steer. They can't back up. They can't do all that stuff. Get your horses broke first on the ground, then under saddle, and guess what? Jumping will be super easy. And so, yeah, here I am taking the time to make sure she knows how to yield off pressure. Everybody liked it when I taught Flynn to side pass with me like we were dancing, but they didn't see the 50 hours of work that I had to put in first teaching her step by step, 1 step at a time, yielding the forequarters 1 step, and then you get 2 steps, and then you get 3 steps. And you've just got to be willing to have that patience and reserve to not get angry, not have emotion, and just make sure the horses learn. And then the horse is so willing once you show them that you are a patient, human being. The horses are so willing to, follow you and do whatever you ask, and it just makes you look like a rock star after that, no matter what. So I always like to long line the horses first before I ride them. It's an extra step that I actually got the chance to ask Clinton about, and he said, there's no problem adding a step as long as you don't leave out steps. And so I like the long lining because it's just 1 extra step of teaching the horse how to steer. And then it also desensitizes them because the lines, kind of rub all over them and everything. And so right here, she's kind of drifting and was just trying to not go over the pole. So I just went ahead and stopped her and said, no, you're going to go over this pole. And that's typical baby behavior. She's trying to test the boundaries and be like, you can't make me go over the pole. And I'm like, no, I have you on these lines. I can make you go over the pole if I want you to. And so here you can see me. This is her first time in the long lines, and she's doing great in steering, because she's been ridden before, but I always treat them like they haven't been ridden. So yeah, adding in the long lining just keeps me a little safer before I do the first ride, because I don't have a helper. So it helps me teach the horse one more thing before I get on the horse, and then I'm responsible for whatever happens. So it's a great way to add safety into your program on the ground. And you can still teach the horse how to, go forwards, backwards, left, and right, and then work off of bit pressure. And it's your hands. It's not like draw reins. So, I mean, you can see, like, she's not perfect at it. She's trying to just kind of figure it out and all that stuff. And here I can evaluate, okay, how is she going to steer when I go, get on her the next day. So I hope everybody enjoys this video, and I hope everybody, can learn something from these videos. And the big takeaway for me is just make sure you're being thorough with your horse training, and you won't be disappointed. You'll have great horses every single time. But it does take patience, and it does take a lot of repetition, which, unfortunately people aren't willing to do. But I always try to make sure that I set my horses up for success and not failure, and that means that I break the lessons down into little pieces that they can understand, and I don't overwhelm them with stuff that's too hard too soon. And just keep in mind, I mean, this horse right here is 3 years old. I would be out of my mind to think that, okay, well, she went over that pole great once. All right, let's point her at her jump. She's ready to go. No, give her a chance to make some mistakes on her own and teach herself. And then when we get to jumping and other stuff, we can do it in a safe manner, and she'll be a great willing partner. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.